All right, next on the docket, I want to talk about the Warriors. I want to talk about the Golden State Warriors because nothing is making sense to me about this Warriors team. Like, nothing is making sense to me. The Warriors team were looking really, really good earlier in the season. I liked what I was seeing. They were looking absolutely unstoppable when Draymond Green was there. Draymond goes down in January. They start looking bad. They start looking really, really bad. They start losing a lot of games. They're not looking as good as they had in the past. Now you got Steph Curry injured. It's going to be out for a while. A lot of people were having a conversation. Was Marcus Smart's play a dirty play? I don't think it was dirty. Marcus Smart, the injury that he did to Steph, I don't think was dirty. I saw a lot of people telling me what he did to Klay was dirty. I'll be honest, I didn't get to catch that full game, and I haven't had the opportunity to go back and look at whatever happened between Marcus Smart and Klay Thompson, so I don't really necessarily have a full opinion on that because I just didn't see it, to be honest with you. But in the last 10, the Warriors are 4-6. Now, mind you, Steph's only missed 2.5 games, I want to say, by this point. He's only missed about 2.5 games. It's not like he's been out at all the time. Now, when Steph was asked about his timeline, this is what he had to say about it. When Steph was recently asked about his return. Oh, now the video don't want to play? Don't tell me the video don't want to play now. I just watched the video. All right, there we go. Steph was asked about his return. I want to say it was earlier today, or he was asked on the 21st. He was asked about his return. First time he was talking to the media since the injury, and this is what he had to say about it.
What do you think?
Let me pull it up for you.
Or what are you being told? Maybe like is a realistic, timetable to get back.
I mean, that 2 weeks is kind of the marker just to know how it's healing, and from what I'm told, just in terms of the ligaments around the injury and the bone that's kind of underneath there, you want to not rush the beginning phases of healing, because that's where you can get the most progress, so that when you do, put the shoe back on, get back on the court, get reps, that you're not dealing with crazy soreness or anything, and you give yourself a better shot, because this is one, I guess, if you push it too soon, it can linger and be a real nuisance. And so obviously anything with your foot, your ankle, anywhere down there, you want to be, I would say, cautious, but just because you don't want that to be something that lingers when you get back out there on the floor.
I assume your belief, though, is like playoff game 1, round 1.
I think I got enough time for that, but I'm an optimist, so.
You can see.
So, hey, man, Cam, what's up? What's good with you, Cam? Thanks for pulling up to the stream. So, as you can see, the way it's looking right now, it's looking like Steph, they're projecting first round in the playoffs. That's everything I've been reading. You heard the reporter just ask Steph himself. So we're looking at first round game 1, and he said that's the goal. He said he's obviously a little more optimistic, and I think the Warriors are in trouble. I hate to say it, and he could come back and he starts looking as he could come back. Excuse me. And start looking, as the TNT guys say, Steffortless. And it could be the Warriors could be a well-oiled machine again, and I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and we'll enjoy watching it anyway. But as of right now, I'm worried about the Warriors. I just am. I think you have to been a little time, wasn't able to come back to the stream for the last couple of weeks. Hey, man, it's all good. I appreciate you pulling up today, though. Know what I mean? The support, it's always appreciated, bro. In the next couple of weeks, the Warriors have, I just don't know how many games they're going to win. I really don't. When you look at the standings, and y'all know me, I love it's probably the most famous screen that be on here because that's how I see things. When you look at the standings, the Warriors are already 4-6 in the last 10. They're third in the West. The Grizzlies just recently took over their number 2 spot. The Jazz have been playing well, as you can see, 6-4. In my opinion, the Mavericks are playing amazing right now, 7-3. They're not too far behind them. You got to start asking the question of how many games are the Warriors going to slip? How many games are the Warriors going to slide? Because Steph Curry, and I've gone on record before and talked about how much I love Draymond Green and how much he brings to that team and how much they missed him when he was gone. But I hope everyone realizes, and we all understand here, that Steph Curry is what makes the engine go. Steph Curry is the real offense. He is the system. Steph Curry is the system. He is the Warriors system. Exactly. Y'all lost to the Magic. That wasn't a good like when we're looking at what's going on. Yeah, this Magic game was bad. And they're playing the Heat tonight. They're up right now. But it's not like the Warriors have the easiest schedule moving forward. That game against the Hawks, it's going to be a tough game. The Hawks are playing better right now. Trae Young's probably going to go crazy. He's coming off a really good week just against the Knicks the other night. Playing against the Wizards. Wizards are a bad team. That should be a win for you guys. Grizzlies, tough team. Suns, tough team. Jazz, tough team. Kings, that's a must win. Like, that's where the Warriors are. That's a must win. Lakers, that's up in the air. It's as crazy as it is to say, the Lakers could wet the bed and have a terrible game, or LeBron could say, I want 50 against the Warriors. Then you ended the season without against the Spurs and the Pelicans, but I'm worried about these Warriors. And I think the main reason is, it's a couple of reasons. One, obviously, Steph's out. We don't know an official timeline because even like he just said, he's being reevaluated in 2 weeks. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be cleared. So what if he's not cleared for the first round? Are the Warriors' first round exits? Like, these are the type of questions that I've been having lately. And, you know, Rage says Klay Thompson is a sample, so we'll start with him. We'll start the conversation with Klay Thompson and how I've been feeling about him. He's just up and down. Like, and it sucks. It really does. He's been up and down so much. Because he's had games where he's looked like Klay Thompson. He has. But then he's had games where he's 1 for 8 from 3 and he's 1 for 10 from 3 or 2 for 12 from 3. And he looks like a shell of himself. He's not as fast on defense. Like, he's forcing up shots sometimes. And I don't want to put it too much on Klay, make it seem like I'm bashing Klay, because honestly, it's understandable. The man hasn't played basketball in 2 years. Between his injuries, COVID breaking up the season, like that, we got to think about this. Klay Thompson hadn't played since 2019. And that finals against the Raptors, that's when he got his initial injuries. So it's just been a really, really long time since he's been on the floor. So it's understandable that he's being up and down. I think a great example of that is what's happening currently with Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie had an ACL tear. Comes back, playing for the Wizards. He looked amazing when he was on the Nets. We all loved Spencer Dinwiddie when he was on the Nets. We loved him playing alongside with D'Lo. And he gets his ACL injury, starts playing for the Washington Wizards, and looks like a shell of himself. Everyone's like, yo, what is going on? Spencer looks terrible. What is going on? And then that trade happens. Spencer and Damas Bertans for Kristaps Porzingis. And even myself, I'm like, what are the Mavericks doing? They just must not like KP, because there's no value in Spencer anymore because he's a shell of himself. And just like that, now, maybe it just took him some time. Maybe he needed a new situation, but it also could have been he was still somewhat recovering from his ACL injury. And now that he feels more like himself, we're seeing Spencer Dinwiddie look like Spencer Dinwiddie again. We just might not see Klay look like Klay this season. This might be, the rest of this season just might be him still warming up, him still getting back to used to being on the court. Unless somehow the Warriors go on a deep playoff run, and then maybe by then he'll have had more time and he starts to look more like himself later on in the playoffs. But I think what we're seeing right now, what we've been seeing for the last couple of weeks since he's been back, what we've been seeing for the last month, really, since he's been back, is I think he's still up and down and recovering from that injury. And I don't mean recovering as in potentially still pain and things like that. I don't really know that. I haven't seen anything where he was saying, you know, he's been still dealing with pain and things like that. I just mean getting back used to playing NBA level basketball. Because you can practice all you want, you can scrimmage all you want, you can run fives with your teammates all you want, but players have said it before. It's just different when you're on the court, when the lights are bright, when the fans are in the stands, when you're actually playing against other NBA players going full speed. It's just a little different. So Klay just might need a little more time to get used to playing up to those speeds. Kerouic says it's over for if he's not back for round one. I agree. If Steph Curry doesn't play in round one, as good as the Western Conference is, I don't see a world where they come out on top. I just don't. I don't know how. I don't see it because they'd end up playing as of right now. They'd end up playing the Nuggets, and I think the Nuggets could beat the Warriors if they don't have Steph Curry. I really do. Cam says if Steph ain't ready for round one, they're possibly a first round exit. Morgan, hey, thanks for pulling up to the stream. I am doing good. How are you today? And then the other piece I want to talk about when talking about the Golden State Warriors, because I've been seeing this a lot lately, because it's another guy who's in shambles. That I don't really have another word for it. Is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, and he's been getting, NBA Twitter has been tearing him a new one. There's been conversations of is he the worst all-star starter in NBA history? People are saying he should have never been a starter in the first place. People are saying he never even should have been an all-star in the first place. And I get it to an extent. Should he have been a starter? Probably not, right? Was it fan voting that got him in there? Yes. Did a K-pop star, don't ask me which one, I'm not really into K-pop, but I just know a K-pop star was a huge fan of Andrew Wiggins, put out a tweet or something like that, at least let his fans know, his or her, like I'm saying, I really don't. I just know it's a K-pop star. Let their fans know that they're fans of Wiggins, and next thing you know, Wiggins is an all-star starter. And I can see the argument for people saying, well, maybe he shouldn't have been an all-star starter. Maybe he should have been an all-star starter. But you can't say Wiggins should have never been an all-star, period. And this is why. Wiggins was having a good year, y'all, before All-Star game. And I think a lot of people are forgetting that. Like, people, we were liking Wiggins. Wiggins was almost felt like on a redemption tour, almost. Like, he finally looked like he could contribute to winning basketball. He finally was showing, honestly, actual value on the basketball court. For years, a lot of people were just calling his numbers empty stats. And this is the context of what Wiggins' numbers were before All-Star break. I just realized my music's gone. So before All-Star break, now mind you, All-Star game was February 22nd. So this is before February 20th. He was averaging 14 points a game, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. 17.7. This is before All-Star break. 17 points a game, 2 assists, 4 rebounds, 48% from the field, 41% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. Now, one big thing that a lot of people kept knocking on him is like, I wish he would rebound more. He's what is Wiggins? 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". So 4 rebounds a game, a lot of people were like, I wish he would rebound a little bit more. But since All-Star break, I don't know what's happening to him. 14 points a game, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. He decided to rebound a little bit better because I guess he figured, let me impact the game in some other way. But he's 38% from the field, 30% from 3 on them still 5.5 attempts. 30% from 3 is wild. That's a 10%. That's a 10% drop off. It's an 11% drop off technically, if we want to be real. So I get a lot of people being mad at his play, a lot of people being disappointed in his play, even because he's not looking good. He's not looking like himself. But for people to say he should have never been an all-star, for people to say he didn't deserve to be an all-star, to be the worst all-star in NBA history, I'll give you worst starter in NBA history. I might give you that one. I'm sure if somebody wanted to be nitpicky, you could probably find somebody worse. I don't feel like doing that deep of a dive. So I'll give you worst starter, or one of the worst starters. But to say he doesn't deserve to be an all-star altogether, to me, it's a little unfair because you got to think of who was available. He was having a good year, 17 points, 48% from the field, 40% from 3. Those are good numbers. And considering players like Paul George is ineligible because of injury, Kawhi is ineligible because of injury, Anthony Davis was ineligible because of injury. If those 3 guys are eligible, he's obviously not making it. I think we can all agree on that. But since they weren't there, he gets the nod. I don't know what's going on with the Warriors. I really think they got to figure something out. But until Steph comes back, I don't think there's an answer, and it really does suck because the Warriors' big three hadn't played a game together in 1,000 days, over 1,000 days. Like I said, Klay Thompson hadn't played for over 2 years, basically about 2.5. Yeah, they hadn't played. Klay Thompson hadn't played for 2 years. Steph was out a little bit in the year prior, the year after. So him and Draymond, they didn't play together, the three of them, for 1,000 days. And they played together for a game and a half, and now Klay's out. It's just not. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.